The 7 most amazing chess records. Okay. Records inspire us all to strive for greatness. The long legacy of chess has birthed some records which have stood for decades, and some that may well stand for centuries. Here are the 7 most amazing chess records ever etched into history. Okay, so obviously one of them is gonna have to be Bobby Fischer. I mean, that has to be Fischer, right? His like 20 wins in a row? That's got to be one of them. Okay, so let's keep going. Longest winning streak. Yeah, this of course, I mean, this isn't probably objectively true. Probably someone who just started chess might have won more than 20 games in a row. But at the top level, when Bobby Fischer won 20 or 19 games, I thought it was 20. I don't know why they have 19 question mark, but I'm sure that'll be explained in a second. But the longest winning streak by Bobby Fischer with 20 wins is just, I mean, out of this world amazing. I don't think that's ever going to be broken at this point. It's just I don't even, that's like I want to say Usain Bolt's records in running. Was it, what did he run? He ran a 9:69, was it, or something? I feel like it's something that's not going to ever be broken. But 20 wins in a row, like at the top level, just nothing compares to that. So Bobby Fischer, world record holder for most consecutive victories in Master Chess. In this title run that ultimately culminated in his match against Boris Spassky, Bobby Fischer won a remarkable 20 games against elite competition. He began his run in the Palma de Mallorca Interzonal of 1970, where he won 7 games in a row to win the tournament because Oscar Pano forfeited his game. Some chess historians choose to discount this game. Okay, so 19 or 20 now. You know what's funny, you guys, is Oscar Pano, who had the disputed game, is apparently a streamer on YouTube. So if you guys speak Spanish, you should definitely check out his stream. He streams on YouTube. I think he's like 84 years old or 85 years old, but he is streaming there in Spanish. So if you do speak Spanish and you ever have the opportunity, make sure to go check out his stream. Okay, so in the candidates matches that followed in 1971, Fischer defeated both Mark Taimanov and Bent Larsen with perfect 6-0 scores. An initial win in the next match against Tigran Petrosian was followed by a loss in Game 2, ending the streak. Fischer went on to handily defeat both Petrosian and Boris Spassky to become world chess champion. Honorable mentions: world champion Bobby Fischer, 11 out of 11 in the 1963-64 US Championship. GM Fabiano Caruana, 7 wins at the 2014 Sinquefield Cup. Wilhelm Steinitz, 25 consecutive tournament and match wins from August 5th, 1873 to May 11th, 1882. That's, I mean, I have to say, if I look at Fischer's records of those two, I don't know which one is more impressive. I think probably the 20 wins has to be more impressive because it was against the best players of all time, whereas US Championship perfect score 11 out of 11 was very good. But there were probably like 2 or 3 players who were not, I mean, they weren't top level players. So I think probably the Master, just winning 19 or 20 in a row is more impressive objectively, but they're both really good. And fun fact, but ever since St. Louis has started hosting the US Chess Championship here, they started in 2009 and they've held it every year since then, of course, excluding 2020. There has always been a prize for a perfect score. So for example, if someone were to go 11 out of 11 in the US Championship, they would get a bonus of $64,000. Now, to me personally, I think that's very low. I think that the odds of someone going perfect are like, I think the prize should be like $640,000 because it's borderline impossible without collusion, of course. So I think even that amazing record of 11 is really, really impressive too. All right. Longest undefeated streak, longest undefeated streak, El Magneto Magnus Carlsen, 125 games. In the newest record on this list, Magnus Carlsen was undefeated for 125 games from July 31st, 2018, when he lost to GM Shakra Mamedyarov in Biel in October 9th, 2020, to when he lost to Jan Christos Duda in Norway chess. Carlsen's record shatters previous marks and spans more than 2 years. Honorable mentions: Ding Liren, who went 100 games from August 9th, 2017 to November 11th, 2018. Mikhail Tal, 95 games from October 1973 to October 1974. Sergei Tiviakov, 110 games from 2004 to 2005. World champion Jose Araújo Capablanca, 63 games from February 10th, 1916 to March 21st, 1924. Now, yeah, I mean, this record is extremely impressive. I actually I mean, I remember that when Ding Liren made his 100 games record, I was very mad at myself because I think there were 2 games during Ding's streak to get to 100, which he should have lost. I think there was a game against me in Norway chess where I was beating him and I messed it up, and there was also a game I think against Levon Aronian where he's completely lost, and he found a way to survive that. So I was definitely upset at the time about Ding's 100 games, because I felt that I should have broken it up long before it got to that point. But nonetheless, very impressive, and by Ding. And of course Magnus's record 125, that's gonna last for a while. I think I don't see anyone breaking that record until like Ali Reza or someone solves chess. It's that record probably, I don't think that record is going to be broken, is what I would say. So I mean, there's obviously luck involved, but I would say that you make your own luck too. Like, I mean, so there's some luck involved in that, but overall, I mean, you play high quality chess, good things are going to happen. And I think also it's very deserving that Magnus has that record, because objectively he is the greatest chess player in history. So let's keep going. Longest reigning world champion, Emanuel Lasker, 27 years. Emanuel Lasker became the second world champion when he defeated Wilhelm Steinitz in 1894. He retained his title until he was defeated by Jose Raul Capablanca in 1921. He continued to play and perform in elite tournaments into the 1930s. It is often noted that Lasker's reign was extended because the intervention of World War I postponed intended matches with Rubinstein and Capablanca. Even accounting for those uncontested years, Lasker's reign would remain far longer than any other world champion. Really, really impressive. Honorable mentions: world champion Garry Kasparov, 15 years from 1985 to 2000. World champion Mikhail Botvinnik, 13 non-consecutive years from 1948 to 1963. This record, I think, I will say this: if Magnus does not break this record, which I don't think he will, I don't think anyone will ever break it. I think that record will last forever. I don't see that record being broken by anybody. I just don't see it. I really don't see it happening. So I think that one's gonna last forever. Highest ELO ever recorded: world champion Magnus Carlsen, 2882. World champion Magnus Carlsen, the highest rated player of all time. Okay. Magnus Carlsen made this mark of May of 2014 on the FIDE list. Unofficially, he reached the even higher mark of 2889 on the live list. Some argue that the rating inflation renders these records meaningless, but Chess.com's analysis shows that chess skill is actually improving over time. As of the time of writing, only 12 players have reached a rating of 2800, including me. Carlsen has been the only player to approach 2900. Honorable mentions: world champion Garry Kasparov, 2851 in July of 1999. GM Fabiano Caruana, 2884 in October of 2014. Now, also what's funny about this record is that I remember this very clearly, because when Magnus first broke Gary's record of 2851, the critical game that he played was against me in the London Chess Classic, and I think it was December of 2013, and we played a Sicilian. I had the white pieces, and I actually got a good position, but the game ended up petering out into a draw. And I remember that after that game, and I know I've told the story on stream before, but after that game I actually wrote to Gary. I was like, sorry man, like I was like, sorry, I couldn't beat Magnus and help you keep that record. But anyway, just a fun little tidbit. I would say this record probably currently this record's gonna stand forever, barring someone who has an implant, like, or something like that, or where the game fundamentally changes. That record is going to stand forever. I don't think that record is going anywhere. That record is going to stand the test of time until there's some fundamental change to the game. So it's another very impressive record, and one that Magnus is very deserving of. All right. So next one we have youngest player to become a grandmaster, GM Abhimanyu Mishra, 12 years, 4 months, and 25 days. On June 30th, 2021, American junior Abhimanyu Mishra became the youngest grandmaster of all time at the age of 12 years, 4 months, and 25 days. Mishra broke Sergei Karyakin's record of 12 years and 7 months, which had stood for 19 years, making Mishra's record more impressive was that he achieved it in spite of lack of available norm tournaments during the COVID-19 pandemic. Honorable mentions: world champion Bobby Fischer, 15 years, 6 months, 1 day in 1958. Judith Polgar, 15 years, 4 months, 28 days in 1991. Sergei Karyakin, 12 years, 7 months. Jan left the chat. Very funny. Okay, so this one, I think, this actually, out of all the records that are on here, is probably the one that I think is probably the least, I don't want to say relevant, but it's probably the one which is, which I think doesn't, I think this is one that's going to change over time. It's not one that's going to stand the test of time. I think with players getting better, at younger and younger ages, as players are getting better and better at younger ages, I think eventually at the Grandmaster level, it's probably someone's going to achieve it at like 10 years or something. I do think that this is the one record which is not going to stand for a very long time. It'll probably stand for like 5 years maybe, but I just feel like every year kids keep getting better and better at younger and younger ages, and it's going to keep getting younger. So that's what I would say. But nonetheless, of course, a lot of credit goes to Abumanu and all the other players who achieved Grandmaster at such young ages. Okay, most simultaneous games: GM Elshan Gaim Magami, 604 games. GM Esan Gaim Magami, world record holder for simultaneous chess. Okay. A simultaneous exhibition is a set of games against multiple opponents at a time. Usually opponents are seated in a row or circle, and the master circles the players making moves against each opponent before moving on to the next. Ahsan Gaimagami, the 9-time Iranian champion, played a staggering 604 opponents to claim the world record for most simultaneous opponents. He won 580 games, drawing only 16 games and losing 8 in a simultaneous exhibition in Tehran, Iran. The exhibition took place on February 8th to 9th of 2011 in the sports stadium of the Shahid Beheshti University. Honorable mentions: Susan Polgar, 326 opponents, scoring 309 wins, 14 draws, 3 losses in 2005. Jose Araújo, Capablanca, 103 opponents, scoring 102 wins and 1 draw in 1922. That's pretty beastly. So this record is interesting. I think what I would say about this one, it's very impressive. But it is another record that I don't think will stand for forever. It's another one that I think is going to keep going up. Like, for example, I could see myself totally, like, I don't know, going somewhere and trying to break this record. What is this setup? I'm currently in St. Louis, Missouri. I'm here playing in the St. Louis Rapid and Blitz event. So it's going to be happening over the next 5 days. So that's the reason I'm here, you guys. I'm not actually that impressed by this record. I mean, this record is good, but I would say this is one also that, like, it's more, I don't want to say gimmicky, but it's one of the ones that's more on the side of something that's, like, it's not overly relevant. It doesn't have any real relevance, I would say, to chess. 4,441 people in chat. I don't even have my dashboard open, so I don't know who's watching or not watching. Title Tuesday is going to be starting in about 20 minutes. So that's what we have. Your subs can help you beat the record. We just need to pick one good weekend. Yeah. Yeah, it's more a stamina test than chess specifically, but it's still something. It's still something. Okay, it's more about how many people you can have a single place playing chess. That's true. Yeah, that's a fair point. All right. Okay, so let's keep going. Most simultaneous blindfold games. GM Timur Gureyev, 48 games. One of the most remarkable feats in chess is the blindfold game. In a blindfold game, a player is not allowed to look at the board. Players must hold the entire position in their heads as the moves are communicated by chess notation. In a simultaneous blindfold exhibition, the exhibition giver must hold all the positions in memory at one time, a staggering feat of chess skill and concentration. Timur Gureyev set a new world record for this format on December 3rd to 4th of 2016 when he played 48 opponents at one time. He scored 35 wins, 7 draws, and 6 losses. Relive the experience with Chess.com's report on the world record attempt. Honorable mention: FM Mark Lang, 46 opponents in 2011. GM Miguel Najdorf, 45 opponents in 1947. So what I would say about this record is this is actually another record that's very impressive. This is, I would say, the two on here that I think are going to, over time, not hold relevance are Youngest Grandmaster and probably most the simultaneous record, but this record is right up there for blindfold. What I would say is that For example, for myself, the most I can do is maybe 15. I did that when I was much younger, but going from 15 to like 48 is pretty insane. And so to me, this is one of the most impressive records. I do suspect that this record probably won't last forever either, because I suspect someone will be able to, I don't know, whatever they do in their mind to make it work. The only thing I was going to say is that I do wonder if it's much easier now versus the old days. So if you think about Najdorf, doing that in 1947, that's a pre-technology age. And I know, like, for myself, when I play blindfold chess in my head, I always have like a computer visual, basically. Like I see like the 3D boards, like it's all like that in my head. And so I do wonder if with technology it's become easier for that reason versus like when Najdorf did it and like computers and screens and none of this stuff really existed. So I wonder if that's in a way more impressive. But at any rate, still a very good a very good record to have. So I would say out of these 7, as I scroll up and rank them, I would say I think the ones that are going to last, Bobby Fischer's is going to last probably forever. Magnus Carlsen's streak, probably I would say forever. 125 is a lot. So I think those first 2 are going to last forever. Longest reigning world champion Lasker, probably also another record that's going to last forever, or at least until we can find some way to aid ourselves with computers. Like with Neuralink or something. So I think those 3 last forever. Highest elo ever recorded, Magnus Carlsen. Another one that I don't see. This one maybe could be broken, but at the same time, I don't think it will be. So I think these 4 are probably going to stand for like 20-30 years at least, if not much longer. Youngest player to become Grandmaster. This is probably out of those first 4, out of these first 5 that I do think this one will be broken, probably within the next decade. I would say within the next decade, I think this will be broken. Most simultaneous exhibition games, I guess it's just a matter of finding a location with a lot of people. I suspect this record will also fall, but might take another decade or so. And the last one, most simultaneous blindfold exhibition games, which is 48. Who knows? Someone will break it, but who knows when. So I assume this will be broken, but this one will last for a very long time too.